You lose this, you bow out of the tournament at top 8 itself.
Yeah, now this is going to add a lot of pressure towards both teams because you have to make sure that your plays are clean, calculated, and unpunishable, right? With that being said, it is Bigetron by Vitality against Twisted Minds. If you have just joined us, it's a best of 7. Correct. First one of 4 wins will get the series. Doesn't matter whether you do it in a row or just in totality. As long as you hit 4, that's your formula.
And always in the best of 7 setting itself. If you win the game 1, it always puts you into a much more comfortable zone towards a long series itself, because you always say it's not a sprint, it's always a marathon here, and you need to be preparing yourself for the long con, for the full best of 7 series, potentially even the ultimate battle here. But so far in this setup, I gotta say, BTR's draft is looking super comfortable with their well-sustained round out draft. But this is, ladies and gentlemen, the first day of this tournament itself as we go into the gorge. BTR on towards the blue side and Twisted Minds on the red side.
Exactly right. BTR, Bigetron by Vitality, going up against Twisted Minds. Game number 1 for tournament life on the line. We have obviously Sagi saying there that for the comp of BTR, they have the sustainability, but in terms of team fight for the side of Twisted Minds, they have the control, they have the sure, they have the unbridled outburst from the Junpei.
Yep, so they really need to land those skills. This is very important for Highline. If Highline gets that first catch, I think you can kind of soft guarantee that the first blood should go into the hands of Twisted Minds.
Oh, absolutely, especially with clean on the Lamb, right? But I mean, I want to note, right, like last time the Lamb come out against the Agudo, it actually went very bad.
Yeah, because they had they didn't manage to secure the early game resources, right? And then they lost control. When Clean cannot dive as a Lam, that's a huge problem. That's because that's a requirement for the Lam to find success in the team fights.
Yeah, so maybe using the depth from below in a very strategical way, maybe try and like play as a into the backline here, because you are looking at trying to exhaust Zan's infinite vastness as well out of these team fights.
Yep, you really need a big, sharp fight, and this one needs to make them hurt. So BTR, they need to be careful about their positioning as well as their rotations. You can see Twisted Minds, they want to speeden up their process. They're going to try and get the space right. Clean has already secured that first one, and with the shared goal on top side, this is going to allow Clean to make that first rotation down.
He's going to be able to use that space right down to the middle of the map here, go and try and go for that minion wave as well to get some more gold over the side of Twisted Minds. They are ahead by around about 200 gold at this current moment in time. You see the Yang Jian just trying to make sure that he's got highs and intel onto that Azure Golem.
Yeah, nice checking there. Actually gets to see that Highline is around with Clean, but the steal here does not happen. Zanki will be able to take that away, secure that camp from Clean, which means he's going to be able to catch up to Clean in quite a bit.
They may not get it, but you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So they are just going to be throwing out those little boats from Sher just to try and see if they can get the catch onto anybody, or even get those little boars come through onto the side of BTR. But just a lot of tip for tat going on right now. You can see quite a respected gameplay coming through from both of these teams, because I feel like if you make one wrong mistake here, it's going to get punished by the other team.
And sometimes not making a mistake can be a big thing, right? So Twisted Minds actually doing well in the gold sharing department. They have managed to funnel quite a few members into the same lane, and now they have this very, very slight advantage in gold.
Yeah, so it's all going to start to kind of like flitter apart from between these two teams, right? It's like that Goldie, but there again, 90 has to be forced out the flash there on the side of Twisted Minds. They try and get some control come through, but it's going to be the Twilight from the Yang Jian. But now, can he get the death from below? Can this follow be the following kill for the first blood? Not quite for the side of Twisted Minds.
Yeah, actually quite difficult because Tubbs didn't have his passive there, fully charged, which allows him to regain his health when he lands those normal basic attacks or first skill. Now with that being said, BTR have held their own against Twisted Minds, but this very slight goal difference may change very soon.
It may do indeed. I mean, they keep focusing top side of the map here on the Tough Z, but now it's going to be that 2v1 90, just trying to block any kind of actions into the T1 here. He doesn't have the flash, so he has to kind of just fight and brawl for this one. But instead, he tries to get a knock up here onto Highline. Maybe this could be it. The diving onto the back line here. The pull comes through. It's going to be the Karma for level 1 right now for the side of Twisted Minds, getting that first blood onto the gorge.
Yeah, Twisted Minds just edging it out. That was a nice attempt by Tubbs, right? In order to stop the TP coming in where they could balance out the numbers. But unfortunately for them, even with a numbers advantage, BTR could not find an angle. Instead, they give away first blood.
Give away first blood, but obviously maybe they're trying to get some pressure elsewhere onto the map, right? Obviously, looking at the mini-map right now, it seems to be going into the favor of Twisted Minds. There's not seeming to be a lane that was sacrificed here for the side of Twisted Minds to get that first blood, but maybe potentially here a little bit of a contention for the Tyrant. We see the flash in from Neil already, trying to get the CC onto HIGHLIGTS. He gets taken down as well. But ultimately, Twisted Minds comes out with the Tyrant.
Yep, he's going to be the first one. He can get 4
Oh,
kills.
Shanks with the bad placement there. I mean, he got caught out. A bit unfortunate for the side of Twisted Minds.
Yep, so BTR, they recover, but at the same time, 90 knows that this is the risk they're taking, so he's going to try and rush down the T1 at the top. But already, BTR has gotten access into the T1 in the mid, as well as the Crimson Golem. This one hurts for Twisted Minds.
Yeah, BTR's momentum's clearly starting to surface here. Yes, obviously they aren't quite getting it within the gold lead. It's only about 500 gold lead, so not the thing to write home to mum about to be proud of for the side of Twisted Minds. They need to be making sure these team fights are looking a little bit more convincing for the side of Twisted Minds.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult because if you take a look at the build here, actually BTR Neil, he's going for a little bit of greed, but they understand that, hey, you know, the lineup, especially HIGHLIGTS, is a bit squishy. So he goes for the staves of sorcery. This is going to help amplify his basic attacks after every skill usage, and this is additional magic damage as well.
Exactly. Giving it front of the lines, giving Neil just kind of chipping away that damage, chipping away the health of Twisted Minds, sorry there, but then it's going to be all down to what we saw in that team fight, right? Tufts going in with the Storm Strike. We have obviously the Gudo using Gorge Mobilization as well to get a knock up there. But I mean, to the idea of Twisted Minds here, getting that split push down to the bot side of the map, maybe the thing that's going to put them back into this game number 1.
Yeah, unless BTR balances out that T1 at the bottom, right? At the same time, you can see 90 is just applying pressure. They want to force BTR to come and defend, of which that role is going to be delegated to ZanQ here.
Yes. See here, Tufts just funneling that minion wave down to the bottom side of the map, trying to pay back that dividends down there. But now 90 get caught out. Forced a flash! He was found in the wrong neighborhood, and I feel like we saw there Twisted Minds, we saw Clean, HIGHLIGTS, Shanks looking to go and help him, but then it was all thanks to BTR's fantastic rotation that cut them off.
Yep, and it's a double whammy, right? 90 actually had to use the flash, but still gave his life. Now with that, the Crimson Golem is going to be under pressure, but it's still going to be secured by Twisted Minds. So at least they have some fighting power. They do have the ability to try and make them trip on the side of BTR.
We always say pressure creates diamonds here, and I mean, BTR definitely had the pressure of that first blood, and obviously the T1 takedown to the bottom side of the map and losing the Tyrant, but now they've been able to kind of resurface. They get the T1 into the mid lane. Top side of the map is looking not too healthy. That goes down as well. So BTR, Bigetron by Vitality, are bouncing back in this one.
Yeah, in fact, they have taken a very slight lead as well. So it's a big wrestle for them because they were trailing by 1,000 gold. And right now, nice catch.
Yep, nice catch into the back line there. Obviously, you can see Verbal trying to put pressure onto the side of Twisted Minds. Shanks has to kind of reformulate, maybe get some health before even trying to attempt to go back in here. But Tufts, Neil, there it is, Clean, looking to go for that death from below. Actually gets nobody there, so that's a little bit of an unfortunate soul for the side of Twisted Minds. But you can see that HIGHLIGTS just trying to catch any of those lone stragglers, right?
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, Clean did manage to force the flash out from Tufts, right?
Yep.
So I think that's a benefit for them. This is also a timer that maybe Twisted Minds, if they find that correct angle on the side of City Boy's ultimate, I think it could be a big win for the side of TN.
Yeah. It could be a huge one, especially getting that CC counter, maybe getting the push back onto one of the sides of BTR. But right now, they're looking for a bit of a play top side of the map here. It's going to be Twisted Minds trying to get the first T2 onto the Gorge here. You can see 90 Clean rotating down bot side here as well with City Boy. Maybe potentially set up a big team fight for this T2 down to the bot side. Really put pressure onto Zan.
Yeah, this T2 is definitely a big prize to have, right? Shanks already put it there.
Oh, Neil with the flash in with the mobile tempo. There's the unending sorrow as well, but maybe just only just getting a little bit of a CC onto the side of Twisted Minds. No real setup for a pickup.
I mean, Twisted Minds, they have done what they needed to do, which is to apply pressure and put a lot of damage, right? That T2 is not going to stay standing for long. In fact, Shanks can actually just, go past that backdoor defense. But for now, it's not going to be necessary because, number one, Tyrant is here and the minions are approaching T2. Yeah,
Tufts have to be expended for that one, and they are going to go for the Tyrant as well. So they do get a Tyrant, but they aren't able to just keep away those minions from taking any more health from that T2 down to the bot side of the map here. So just back to your point there, Ken, it's going to take a little less now for the side of Twisted Minds, but there it is. The Unbridled Outburst is really going to set up the pick up onto Zan there, and now Neil goes down. We was talking about sustainability for the side of BTR, and it's not looking sustainable. Shanks with the double kill.
Yeah, it's a big play, and one mistake, like you mentioned before, Twisted Minds take 3 lives from the side of BTR. They had to defend the T1. At the same time, this stopped them from trying to slow down Shanks. Now remember, Shanks did get taken down earlier in this game, but I feel like he is completely recovered.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he had like one moment, that one bit of clarity there. Like, okay, my positioning cannot be off even to a small decimal point. So now he knows that he has to play either try aggressive in the early part and then use the parasol back to then obviously go in after the front line of the side of Twisted Minds goes and retreats into the team fight, or just sit behind carefully, pick up the stragglers.
Yeah, you take a look at Clean's positioning. He gives information to the side of Twisted Minds. And I think the most impressive thing so far is HIGHLIGTS. HIGHLIGTS has been catching so many BTR members. More importantly, he catches Zan. Once he gets caught, there is no escape because he's going to be stunned for days. Yeah,
we talk about interesting information. Obviously, we know that HIGHLIGTS was part of the Vitality roster last year, and now obviously JunQ, Bigetron by Vitality on this same roster. So it's a little bit of a battle of the roster ops, right?
Yeah, and so far it's neck and neck, right? Take a look at the goal. There is no difference between the two teams at this point. Now, the 10-minute mark is where the difference will be made.
Yeah, I mean, we look at that gold lead. It's pretty much neck and neck right now between BTR and Twisted Minds, but these team fight setups are definitely going in the favor with the good mobilization with the Storm Strike. Picks up Island, but now it's going to be that unbridled outburst that gives City Boy a little bit more of a second wind here. They could potentially got 2 picks onto the side of Twisted Minds, but now we're seeing Tufts. He is looking like a strong front line for the sides on BTR.
And this makes life very difficult for the side of Twisted Minds because they have no control now. The only form of control is City Boy's ultimate or Clean's ultimate, of which requires you to dive. And that's a risk they cannot take at this time because it's too close.
It's very close indeed. I mean, you are coming in a lot of resources and potential takedown for your jungler as well, right? I mean, that's where the oppression from Twisted Minds, especially the backline of BTR, could come from here is the side of Clean, but Clean maybe getting caught out now. He's trying to get the dunk onto Neo, but that's not going to happen right now. 90 is trying to get as much HP regen. They do force the flash out from 90 as well. They're trying to catch HIGHLIGTS with the Furball. Just a pretty much a bit of a brawl, but nobody dying.
I mean, now you see the value of Tufts, right? Tufts on this Byron, he is able to be the one getting caught out by HIGHLIGTS. If you take a look at his itemization as well, he's only at 7,200, but he's way ahead of 90 on this Yangjian.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely a more fruitful pick into these team fight potentials, right? Like, obviously, yes, Yangjian into the jungle when paired with a Dolia is pretty great, but up into the clash lane, you don't see it getting much success.
Yeah, let's switch our focus over here to ZanQ for a little bit. Look, his itemization, he already has a lifesteal, and he also has the Eternity Blade along with the Shadow Ripper. So this is a lot of crit damage going down. And this might be trouble for Twisted Minds because so far they haven't been able to find ZanQ because Tufts has been setting up the fight perfectly with the Storm Strikes.
Exactly. I mean, 90's not really had the moment to shine. City Boy really relies on that unbridled outburst to keep him into that into the team fight as well, right? Because I mean, we saw there previously into that mid lane brawl where they almost got the pick up onto HIGHLIGTS as well as City Boy, but it was just that ultimate that saved him, gave him the second wind.
Yeah, I feel like HIGHLIGTS is the cornerstone, at least in this game #1, right?
Yeah.
When HIGHLIGTS is taken down, then all of a sudden, there is a little entry point for Twisted Minds to try.
Big of entry points here. 90 tries to go in to steal the Overlord, but he has no smite. So no smite, that's a problem. And now you're in the pit. That's a problem too. You get taken down as well. Nearly to the backline. Tries to get CC onto Shanks, but no. He responds kindly with a kill, but now double kill going over to JunQ. They're looking for a little bit more here on the side of BTR. Overall, a 2-2 trade.
But a big win for the side of BTR. They can be patient because in the mid lane, Shadow Vanguards and the Shadow Overlord are flying down as well. Shanks is going to try. He's not going to be able to do it.
He's just trying to put pressure on, right? He's trying to force him away from this T2, but I mean, once they have the critters, it's kind of the part and parcel of the Gudo pick, right? Just popping those down means you don't really need the minions into these T1, T2s.
Yeah, so credits once again to Omkarus, right? This draft is pretty sick because ZanQ here, as well as Zan, the both of them are great turret takers. And Twisted Minds are so far the victims of this macro play.
Exactly. I mean, if you look at obviously Twisted Minds' team composition as well, right? I mean, it's definitely more so towards this sort of like team fight potential here. With the addition of tanks, the frontline dives from Clean and 90, and then you got the control from HIGHLIGTS, and then you really just relying on Shanks to just do all the damage onto the enemy team. But looking at BTR, they have the early game to mid game, which is where we're kind of like situated right now. Obviously more towards mid game, and using that Agudo to get these pushes is kind of catching the side of Twisted Minds off guard.
very much so. And at the same time, look, they have, I think, better setup on the side of BTR. They have 3 potential members that get the stunts for them to be able to start the fight. City Boy has to commit a huge ultimate just to be able to start a fight for the side of Twisted Minds.
Yeah, it's scary. If you're relying on the relying on singular motives into a team fight or a potential win condition into a team fight is very scary if you are Twisted Minds. Whereas BTR, they seem to have multiple facets going into these team fights, but right now look to try and go for the Shadow Overlord, Shadow Tyrant, sorry, here. It's going to be Jungkook getting that pick up here. So the one thing obviously they were quite kind of lacking, obviously he's John, we saw get the Siege Breaker as well. He now has the additional damage from that Shadow Tyrant. He's definitely going to be packing a punch.
Yeah, I mean, punches galore from the side of BTR, and this is what the IKL fans are hoping to see at this point. For game number 1, it seems like the pressure is increasing by a lot. Once again,
Pressure increasing, but also the Gorge mobilizing as well with the throw of ball into the back line here. Now Neil tries to go in and tries to get a stun onto Shanks, but no avail. But they are able to force him away from that T3 down to the bot side of the map. So once again, a solid team fight here for BTR. It may have gone into the favor of Twisted Minds if they lost a member on the side of BTR, but they got everything to play for here.
Very disciplined play from the side of BTR. This is what we want to see, right? And I mean, we talk about these 2 teams. This is where the pressure is going to be the greatest. But with their backs against the wall, both these teams have the potential to turn around. They've shown it to us so many times.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they definitely show the flavor and they know the know-how to get out of a sticky situation, which, again, we can see Twisted Minds. They're losing their Azure Golem, and that's going to be at the detriment of Clean.
And you know what? The happy number here is 12, because 12,000, you are 6 slotted, and this is exactly where Zankyu is at. He has double buffs. The Crimson buff is also in the hands of Zan as well, so that's maximum damage output. Right now, all they need is for Tough Z to have his ultimate, and with that, they should be able to outlast and maybe outburst Twisted Minds as well.
And there you go. You see the green light onto Byron's head there, so Tufts has his ultimate, so maybe this big play around the Shadow Overlord could be the case here. Maybe just trying to clear up these minion waves, get the pressure here as well, but 90 just looking for a little bit of wintel for his teammates here, saying, guys, they're trying to rotate from mid, trying to go onto the Overlord.
It all comes down to vision here, right? The Gorge mobilization by Zankyu is going to be very critical in this, and vital in the team fight, because if he lands that onto members like Shanks, I think the fight is over.
Oh, absolutely. Shanks, if he gets taken out in these early parts of the team fights or even gets caught out here, it's definitely going to be bye-bye night for the side of Twisted Minds. But now, you can just see them posturing around this Shadow Overlord. Maybe just trying to make a bit of a bait switch. Obviously, bot side of the map, they have the super minions onto the side of BTR.
Yeah, it's literally a waiting game for BTR, right? How much do you want to try and commit? And as long as Highlung does not get that Silky imprint, then it's not going to be easy for the side of Twisted Minds to start anything in this game. They're just going to consistently reset this Shadow Overlord on the side of BTR.
Yeah, but they've got to be careful though, right? Because obviously, if you keep doing this, Twisted Mind's going to find a way in, or alternatively, BTR is going to find their way in, and it's going to be sort of like good night for either of these 2 teams. But you can see now, City Boy, he does have that Unbridled Outburst, trying to get the pull here onto Tufts, because obviously he is going to be the front line here. Unbridled Outburst, catches onto 3, 90 goes in, forces out even the fastest onto the side of BTR, but they are able to reconvene, go for their Azure Golem, no pick off for the side of Twisted Minds just yet.
They might rush this. Clean has shown himself at the bottom part of the map. They have expended all the big ultimates on the side of Twisted Minds. Right now, it's all for BTR. They can make this steal, and if Clean doesn't show up soon, they will lose this.
They will lose this indeed. They're going to try and contest it, but no, it's going to be the Overlord going up the side of BTR once again, but Clean into the back line, tries to go onto the side of Tufts, but he is tough nonetheless, but gets taken down. When you have 5 members on you, you can't sustain that kind of damage.
Beautiful work. Exactly what you need from Shanks. And right now, you can see Clean making a beeline for the Shadow Tyrant. They need this extra fighting power. At the same time, he was looking for a potential steal at the Crimson. That's going to be secured by Zan. And we'll see, is there a turnaround for the side of BTR? I feel like they have to let this one go.
Yes, they have to let the Tyrant go. They don't, well, they could obviously go in with Jungkook, but at the same time, at what cost? If they go in now with 2 members down, it's not going to look too healthy for them.
Yeah, exactly. I think the safe marker here is when Ormson has his ultimate, right? You want that Celestial Melody, you want that refresh. Only then does BTR feel comfortable to fight, because that goal lead that we're talking about just now for BTR completely negated. It is neck and neck once again.
Yeah, very close gold leads between both of these 2 teams as well. 55.1k now, as you can see, top side of the board here. But I mean, now it's... I think it's BTR's game to lose here. They had the advantage with the push down to the bot side here, but now They are looking for more.
It really depends on how Twisted Minds manage this bleeding wound on the bottom side of the map. And they can't lose a team fight here.
They can't lose a team fight here. No, definitely not. Tufts cannot get caught out by Highlang. Once again, we've seen that scenario play out already, but there it is. The death from below. Gorge mobilization being procced here from both of the two junglers, so they don't have their ultimate. And Purple goes down, looks for the retreat, look for a push here into the mid and into the top side of the map here. Could be BTR.
Yeah, Twisted Minds, they have to make really quick decisions here. They have dealt with the Shadow Overlord. That's great for them. But at the same time, BTR gets the reset. And with 25 seconds to go, game number 1, we're looking at a potential. I mean, no, this is a guaranteed Tempest Dragon.
Yeah, I could imagine either of these teams with the situation they have with the Gorge right now finishing the game with 13 seconds on the map. But there it is, 10. Very frightful time of coming here. And then speaking of frightful, you don't want to lose your jungler at this point in time. Jianghu goes down, builds the Sage's Sanctuary. A little too late.
All right, they have 39 seconds. Can they hold Twisted Minds? I don't think so. Clean now has the opening to try and catch the Tempest Dragon. Shanks is going to help him as well. BTR have found himself in a very tight spot now.
I mean, we don't love tight spots, do we? We are very much claustrophobic here on the broadcast desk. We like our room and freedom as we see fit, but as you can see here, it's not really the advantage of BTR, right? Like, they have definitely been forced into a very sticky situation.
But this is exactly what we need from the KMW finalists and hopeful. This is the last team coming in from the region of Italy to try and win against BTR. Now, BTR, this is not impossible to deal with, but it's a extremely difficult situation to find yourself in.
Oh, absolutely, especially with the Vanguards having disrupt onto these turrets, right? Like, we could really see a big siege play here from the side of Twisted Minds right now, going into that 21-minute mark. Very low kill game. It's been played very tactically by both of these two teams.
Yeah, it's really trying to keep it out of range. That's the biggest difficulty they have, right? BTR, as long as they keep it out of range, the towers will still be active. But Twisted Minds, they also have a very quick turret taking power.
They do indeed. They have the Vanguards come through here as well as Shanks with that increased damage from these Vanguards as well. You can see him just trying to like poke and prod onto the side of BTR. See him there, Ormston just taking a lot of damage. There it is, there's Control coming through once again. Unbridled Outburst coupled up with everything in between. Now we see the opening of that bot side of the map as well. Two members of the side of BTR do go down, and we're looking at a third. Neil goes down, the Stampede locks on into place, and there it is. Game number 1 Crystal for Twisted Minds.
Pulling it to the absolute limits here. First Tempest Dragon of game number 1, and Twisted Minds turn their fates here, and it's going to be a big success story. Great start.
Ah, that was so